voracious. किरण का जो क्वालिफिकेशन है, he is basically an IIT from aeronautic engineer, and he has done a MBA from XRI, which is one of the 5 institute of the India. And the way he thinks, the way he walks, is anyone's imagination. When I find him, he's just absolutely mesmerizing personality. So if you take any talk from today, it would be wonderful gifts which is given by Kiran to us. And when I met him, the energy level of him is beyond imagination. I cannot thought a person so simple, so knowledgeable, so like people, languaging the thought is his art. लोगों के पास थॉट्स है, बट उसको बाहर लाके जो उसको लैंग्वेज करना है, उसको इम्प्लीमेंट करना है. सो व्हेनेवर आई थिंक हिम इज अ मनी मैग्नेट. ओके, वो कहीं भी जाए पैसा क्रिएट कर सकते हैं सो इजीली एंड एफर्टलेसली. बट this is what I see in him. I am inspired by him whenever I meet him. And he's a very staunch believer of God. हमारा ग्रेस ऑफ गॉड का एक ग्रुप है जो मानता है, हम बिलीव करते हैं, the only thing in life is to have a grace of God, which which I'm getting, and Kiran is also getting, and few of them are getting. And if you want to go there, just use Pradeep Mukherjee, God, and listen to audio of him. And today, Kiran is going to talk on the subject, and anyone who wants to have a question answered, always most welcome. I'm Nitin Pathak. You can join always weekly the seminar through Pathak@blogspot.com. ये जो blog है, you can email me. And today's lecture, after this, you'll be available on YouTube, and it will be available. His talk will be available. Kiran will be always available to have a tranquility in your business. आपका business में कैसे आप effortlessly you can make money, and making money is not a main problem. I'm talking about money, but it's all about value addition to the other person. Will always support you. That is the way I talk it about, like Mukesh Ambani or whatever the businessman is. What they're doing, they are balancing between share, जिसकी जो stakeholder है, stakeholder is equal to, अगर आप देखो तो जिसका पैसा लगा हुआ है, पैसा किसका लगता है, शेयर होल्डर का लगता है, बैंक का लगता है, गवर्नमेंट का जो एनर्जी है, कस्टमर का सेटिस्फेक्शन, एम्प्लॉय से, उसको बैलेंस करते हैं. तो वो आज जो होता है उसको ट्रैंक्विलिटी इन बिजनेस कहते हैं. मैं नेक्स्ट मेरा सीरीज है विच इज मास्टरिंग यूज ऑफ एआई. आज एआई इज रिमेनिंग ए बज़वर्ड, बट वी आर गोइंग टू टेक 9 सेशन दिस डेट. The date would be available, and on the basis of that, आपको AI का बारे में काफी चीज मालूम है, आपको खाली चैट जीपीटी मालूम है. बट मैं आपको एक एग्जांपल देता हूँ. मेरा एक क्लाइंट है, ये उसने मेरे को जो ट्रिब्यूनल की अपील जो फाइल करती है, जिसकी फीस 5 लाख रुपीज लगती है, उसने मेरे को चैट जीपीटी से बना के मुझे 500 पेजेस का प्रेजेंटेशन दिया. अगर आप, मेरा एक क्लाइंट है जो बॉम्बे में है, ही इज इनटू साइबर सिक्योरिटी बिजनेस, साइबर सिक्योरिटी एंड एआई. He said पहले उसके पास 30 एम्प्लॉय थे, नाउ इज वर्किंग विद 2 एम्प्लॉय डूइंग द सेम वर्क. तो अगर आज आप लोग सोचते कि एआई इज अ वर्ड, इज नॉट फॉर मी, बट नॉट लाइक दैट. अभी मैंने सुना था लाइक 2 days बिफोर दैट कोकिलाबेन हॉस्पिटल में एमआरआई का एक एमआरआई उसको दे दो, ही वुड गिव द रिपोर्ट. नो डॉक्टर्स आर नीडेड. एक्सरे को बहुत सारे बोलेंगे. तो ये एआई का यूज कैसे होगा, ये आपको ये सिखाएंगे. मेरे स्टाफ वाले जब ये पीपीटी बनाते हैं, इसके बारे में उनके पीछे क्वेश्चन लगते हैं. मैं बोला ये तुम जो लिखते हो, आपका क्वेश्चन माने तो वो तो तुम्हारा आईक्यू के बाहर की बात है. बोले नो, उन्होंने जो एआई के बारे में बाद में जो क्वेश्चन लिखा. सो इफ यू हैव अ क्लैरिटी इन व्हाट यू वांट, you can make a miracle in life. That's what I'm saying about. Then I'm going to talk about mastering investment technology strategies. And these are the number of seminars which I'm going to conduct shortly. And this is the AI minus Young, which is already available in blog. इंट्राडे ट्रेडिंग का एक सेशन था, वो आपको ब्लॉग में मिल जाएगा। ये मेरा दोस्त है रोहन सिंगल, उसको टेक्नोलॉजी के बारे में उन्होंने जो लिखा है, अगर आप यूज करोगे तो यू कैन हैव ए मेडिसिन फ्री लाइफ सो इजीली एंड एफर्टलेसली। ये एक रोहन का लेक्चर भी आपको सुनने जैसा है। इसरो, हाउ द सीनियर साइंटिस्ट मिस्टर आशीष सोनी इज डिलीवर्ड, व्हाट इज द ग्रोथ engine of India through ISRO. With this, I hand over the mic to you. I'm stop sharing. Now your sharing will come. Over to Kiran. Now, Kiran, you can start your talk and we are listening.
Okay. Thank you, Nitin Bhai. You are very kind and you spoke a lot about me. I just want to say that true prosperity and tranquility, I have approaching it through the art of collaboration. And I want to say that it comes together never because of any one person. Even if you look at today, this has come together because you invited me and you are creating this. And there are other friends over here. Hello, Rohit Bhai, and everybody who's here, because I said hi to everybody. Shama and Karishma and Darshan. And perhaps there are some people at your office physically. But what I want to really start with is a little bit about my journey, because I feel that when we look at tranquility and put it together with business prosperity, we must look at different types of wealth and prosperity. I think this is important because normally we associate prosperity with money, which is there. Financial prosperity is important. And we also associate it with power. So these two things are there, but I think I'm wanting to open up our minds and hearts to explore this in a deeper way together, which I will share. And my journey has been, let me say in brief, that already Nitin Bhai introduced me, but when I was young, I'm 60 now, in those days, we had only broadly two options, engineering and medicine. Of course, today there are many options. And I decided somehow that I was more drawn to engineering. So I actually applied for IIT, and I would say I was lucky. Of course, I put in some effort and got in. And I still preserve a T-shirt just to share, which says two of my greatest accomplishments. And at the back, it says that somehow got in, somehow got out. I did well, but the fact is that in IIT, during my teenage and early 20s, I discovered my passion for people. And I was thrown into some leadership positions in the hostel and then in the institute, where I really discovered out of my interaction with mess workers, with faculty, with students, that my heart was more with people. And so I got into the sales field. With HCL, the IBM PC was being launched in '86. And 2 years, and then I said, let me do my MBA. Of course, HCL didn't want to let me go, so I went on study leave, but somehow didn't come back because I again got into marketing and sales with ITC. But in '96, about 8 years in the corporate world, there was a deep calling that human beings have so much potential, right? And yet we are struggling, we are suffering, we have great gifts. But what is this whole thing, this question? And therefore, I shared with my boss, and he connected me with somebody in Pune. I was in Chennai. And within a few weeks, I left and joined this whole field of leadership, learning, and exploring human potential. So over the last 30 years, close to it'll be 30 years next year, I've been exploring this field. And I was working to develop senior leaders and, of course, leaders across levels. But I was also working to develop other trainers, facilitators, and coaches. So both ends, people who were developing leaders and leaders at senior levels. And what I discovered, I'm going to share today in my presentation, because prosperity and tranquility don't always go together. And we will explore and discover how they can coexist, because they have to collaborate between themselves. And humans have to learn that actually we are not just individuals, but each of us is an ecosystem. And also, I would say that businesses are ecosystems, right? There are multiple stakeholders in the ecosystem. And if we are only focusing on the business as an individual business and are not looking at the whole ecosystem, then the problem begins. So I've had the blessing of meeting some very wise people, and each of you has a deep wisdom. And I feel that I am going to attempt to have a little interaction with whoever is here to see if we can together, arrive and see what it is. So I would prefer that people participate. You could keep your you unmuted if you are in a silent place. If you are in a noisy place, then you can unmute. But I thought I will start with 7 types of prosperity for tranquility, And I have already put financial prosperity, which is the obvious one, which we all think of, right? But if I was to ask you that if we look at prosperity in business, but also I would say that life as a whole, of which business is a very vital part, right? And while the business is a tangible expression, right? I often ask people to do a simple exercise, and I would invite all of you to do that so that we can interact and we can discover something rather than me just being somebody who's Gyan Bato and giving some wisdom from some pedestal, because I feel that true wisdom, true clarity is discovered in our togetherness, right? So this little exercise that I'm asking you to do is that if you have a paper and pen, put it on the paper and pen, otherwise just do it in your mind, right? Can you just draw a tree or imagine a tree? You know how children do it? And bring it to your mind or put it on paper preferably. And as you do that, it's not an art competition, but just like a little exercise. Now I have another question, which is in the tree that you imagined or you drew on paper, does it have roots? Dr. Paresh?
No.
No, it has?
Yes.
Okay. And Nitin Bhai, you said that it doesn't have?
No.
So I have seen, because I've done this with thousands of people. Yeah, thank you. You're showing it to me. Thank you, Dr. Paresh. And the question I want to ask is that, are the roots smaller than the tree?
Almost equal.
Amazing. This is a very rare thing, because mostly people only look at the visible and the tangible, right? 80% of people where I've done this exercise with thousands of people either draw only the tree or draw very tiny roots. But roots are that which power the tree. And that's where the invisible is actually dictating and defining the visible. The intangible is powering the tangible. And often we are not paying attention. We're only looking at the tip of the iceberg, right? And we truly need to dive deeper, which is what my attempt is, that let's look at financial prosperity. But what else would you say is important if we look at business, of course, but also at life, because prosperity is about business and life as a whole, right? So anybody would like to attempt to say, what is there something else which is important to prosperity, which may be intangible, which may not be very obvious? Anybody, any thoughts?
Peace within.
Yeah, the within, and that, of course, the inner. But if we look at it, since you actually said it, I would say that ease and freedom is a very, very important part of prosperity, right? And not just financial freedom, which is important, but there are many different types of freedom. And that's what we look at when we come to the balance 5 aspects. What is that which will make you prosperous and free? We'll keep building on this. And what is that which comes in the way if we don't experience that prosperity and freedom? What takes it away? Would anybody like to take a guess?
Pardon?
What is it that interferes with a sense of freedom and prosperity, which also is a wealth that we need to look at?
Interference is in your mind.
Yeah.
Like
so
when you have a clarity of your thoughts.
Yes.
Okay, then what happens? Like people think that freedom is only from money.
Yes.
But it's not like that.
Beautiful. So there is a mental and emotional freedom, or I would say emotional prosperity or well-being, which is what you are saying is there. And Nitin bhai, I'm really, because two of us in a way are hosting, I'm also looking for others if they feel like participating. Otherwise, you could also. Yes, Shama, please share what else is important in the field of prosperity. You're on mute, Shama.
Yeah, focused and planning.
Focus and planning. I think that's very important. And that also comes from a clarity in the mind and an ease in the heart. But planning is a very important, and planning in which area of life, if I was to ask you?
In area of understanding how to generate finance prosperity.
Exactly. So beautiful. So I'll put it in my words, and you will see that business or work, whatever work we are doing, work which is alive, and there is aliveness in work, that is a kind of prosperity. People will make a lot of money, but not necessarily they're alive, right? And therefore, the planning and all of that, the aliveness of your business and at work is also a kind of prosperity. Yeah, Shama, you were going to say something.
Yeah. First, I'll tell there are some messages in the chat as well. I think people are not able to unmute when they want to unmute because it's
right.
admin control. But
yeah, so Nitin, if you can, allow them to unmute. Yeah.
And also, like finding what we are really good at doing. It may not be something that we fully love or
yes,
it's our passion, but we are good at doing it. So finding that space, it could be the business overall, or it could be your role in that. Finding that.
Yes. I think that's a beautiful one. One way, I mean, the words that people often use, that there is a natural ability, So to connect with our natural ability, some people use the word ikigai. Some people, I mean, I often use the word heart song, and some people talk about our genius, but a natural ability, because the more we are in tune with what we are enjoying and what we are doing naturally, that gives us a certain sense of prosperity. Okay, so that is the fifth one. In fact, I come with 7, but sometimes there is a new one which arrives, so I allow that to happen. But is there something else, Dr. Paresh, Pooja, and if you just allow people to unmute, they may have to request. I don't know if there's a setting.
They have been allowed to unmute themselves.
Okay, lovely. So, in the interest of time, if there isn't something somebody is sharing, I would like to add the other 3, or which I'll give about half a minute if there is somebody else. I feel, Darshan, if you are able to speak, there is one area of prosperity which you have an abundance of, which we often consult you. What is that?
I'm able to speak. The abundance I see is not only around me, but in other people, which can be, that experience of being with other people can make us abundant.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And that, I feel, is what I call relational prosperity. And we could use the word well-being also for prosperity. Normally is associated with money, but relational, is a very important aspect. And often as human beings, we have some or the other struggle in the field of relations. So to see that we are together walking, not alone, we are alone also and together also, and that's very important, right? I would say, yeah, go ahead. Nitin bhai, you want to say something?
No.
Yeah. So one area which I often see is obvious, but people tend to forget, is our health, is our body, is our physical well-being. Because I'm sure you people have heard that if money is lost, a lot is lost, but if health is lost, everything is lost. So, and often we want to focus on our health, but something or the other, many of us, when I'm sitting in a room full of senior leaders, CEOs, I often ask them this question, which I will come to in my next slide, but hold on to this thought about well-being in the body. And the last thing, when I said 7, that's why I type, and 1 was added by Shama. So I'm saying 8. The 8th one, which I would like to put, is that is there a certain prosperity at home and in the family? Because I feel that is also a reflection, because the home is what is supporting us. And the home, which is our physical home, our emotional home, are we feeling at home, is a very, very important aspect of well-being and prosperity. Now, we know this somewhere, right? But the next question that I'm going to ask is that there is a gap between knowing and doing. Have you noticed that, friends?
Yeah.
That often we may know all these areas. This is not something completely new, that health is a prosperity, following our heart and doing something that we enjoy. Like Rohit Bhai said, planning in business and looking at work, all of this we know. But often there is a gap between knowing and doing.
But how you can fulfill it?
Exactly. That is, before we jump to fulfilling it, that's a great question. That's why I put a question here. Why does this gap exist? Anybody would like to attempt to guess?
I'm telling to my friends who are like, why there is a difference between knowing and doing.
Yeah.
मैं एक example देता था. Akbar था. Okay. Akbar was very young. Was less than 16 years old. And he became the king of the बराबर है. So how he could manage is with the friend like Kiran, Paresh bhai, Rohit bhai. You keep a friend who are ready to blast you. He would come and tell you, Mr. Kiran, Mr. Nitin, you know, but you don't know why you're not doing it.
So you need some positive criticism.
Yeah, like Kabir, one of the things that's
very good
attributed
clarity in their personal life also. When I meet Kiran, when Kiran became a consultant in your company, he would always guide you. He knows the difference between knowing and doing immediately.
Yeah, and one thing I discovered, which I want to share here, is that the gap exists, because where is knowing happening actually? Where do we know things?
In mind.
In the mind, exactly. So the mind is where the knowing happening, and where is the doing happening?
Actually, it starts from mind also.
It starts from the mind, but often the mind is not able to translate into action and implementation, right? Where is the implementation and doing happening?
Maybe in your heart.
The doing actually happens in the body.
Body, yeah.
Because often the body is not moving. When I'm coaching senior leaders, they know everything in the mind, right? But there is a gap. And why that gap is there is because there is something in between the mind and the body, right? So what is that which is between the mind and the body that actually creates the gap or bridges the gap is an important question to ask. Anybody would like to guess? That when we are able to do what we know, and sometimes we are not able to, there is a resistance that comes. So when there is a resistance, if I was to just say, or there is a flow. If there's a flow, then it happens. If there's resistance, but both of these are coming from something that is connecting.
Habit of procrastination.
Yeah, procrastination comes in the way. Exactly. Okay. What else?
And priority.
The priority comes in the way. Exactly. But what I want to say is that emotion creates motion. So actually, Dr. Paresh, what you said earlier is the connecting thing, which is the heart.
Heart.
And I like to say that the heart of the problem is the problem of the heart. And I'm just going to move into slideshow now, because you will see that because if heart is the problem, for us to be able to actually attend to all these various types of prosperity and bring tranquility, where they're going hand in hand in business, in life, then we need to connect with the heart. We need to connect with, because wars between countries, friends, happen because human beings are not able to manage their emotions. Anger, fear, all of that is trapping us, right? And a lot of the work that we do at Co-Evolve, and I do with leaders, is how can the mind, the body, and the heart be aligned, and aligned to what Nitin Bhai said is the true God's grace. And when they're aligned, something comes alive, right? So now what I want to ask is that for a collaborative kind of leadership, we are talking of 7 heart skills, which can impact all these areas of prosperity. If you notice this interaction, right, you will get a sense of what are these skills, because we have been using these skills for our interaction. So would anybody like to guess what these skills are? You saw them, but I want to ask you if you didn't read it first. Yeah. What are these skills that we are using to interact?
Your ability to observe and listen.
Beautiful. Observing and listening, I put them as 2 distinct skills, right? Deep listening and observing is almost you're stepping back, zooming out,
yes.
Right? So these are 2 very beautiful skills. And often when I ask this question, listening comes. So listening is like the in-breath, but there is an out-breath also, which I call authentic speaking, right? The in-breath and the out-breath. In fact, it is good to take a pause here and actually connect with our breathing. And notice that as we breathe deeply, something shifts. Because the word breath has the word heart hidden inside it. It also has the word earth hidden inside it. So we get grounded, we are in touch with the earth, and the heart is alive. And then the knowing-doing gap gets reduced. So deep listening, authentic speaking, observing, like you said, Dr. Paresh, which is, I call it helicoptering, stepping back from a detached place, Any other skill that you are noticing, friends, that I'm using right now so that we make it participative, we evoke your wisdom? What am I doing?
Multitasking.
Multitasking, but
Probing.
right. Sorry?
Probing.
Probing. Beautiful, Rohit bhai. So questioning and bringing a sense of curiosity is a very important skill, because we get caught with our knowledge, right? And the word in knowledge is the ledge, the edge. We don't go to the edge because we are in our comfort zone, right? But very important to also see, friends, can you see what is coming after my question right now? Before you answer, there is something. Can you notice? Right here, right now. I ask a question, I'm doing that. Then what happens?
I think deep understanding through deep listening.
Yes, deep understanding, and that understanding is evoked, okay, by the pause. Do you see that? Because the pause allows you to participate, you to reflect, because there's a lot of knowledge, but until we are together, jugalbandi, jab tak nahi hai, to wo knowledge digest nahi hota. Somebody said you can tell people what they need to know very fast, they will forget it even faster. People are more likely to remember, practice, implement, and own if you help them to figure out for themselves. Don't give the fish, teach them fishing. Right? So I'm just going to actually put up these skills and talk about the other two. What I also found is that appreciation is a very important skill, because the human being is normally always looking for what is negative, what is not okay. We are caught in blaming, we are caught in judging, and therefore deliberately looking at the beauty and appreciating is a very important skill. The sixth skill is what I call navigating feelings. Because when you are tense, when there is no tranquility, right? There are times there may be prosperity, but you are not feeling prosperous. You are feeling scarcity, right? Some of the most rich people may not be feeling rich, right? Because something inside is always wanting more, ambitious, right? But to be sometimes a person who does not have a lot of wealth may be more prosperous, because he or she is not feeling that scarcity. Money is very important. I'm not making that any less important. But also, the underground of that is to learn to work with our feelings, with our mind, with pausing, because often we need to slow down to speed up. And helicoptering, like is actually what you said, Dr. Paresh, observing, right? And these 7 hard skills are the nichod of the 30 years of work that I have been doing, right, over these years. And I want to share an example that I was called to work with the GMR company. Their vision, GM Rao himself said that we want to build an organization which is an institution in perpetuity. GMR, the airport people and all that. And so he said, I want all my CEOs of the various businesses, all my CXOs to be mentors. And I had the privilege of certifying them as mentors. And when we were doing this journey over 6 months, and I was actually coaching them, and they were coaching or mentoring mentees, so that they can be certified, they used these 7 skills. And they also used something called, what we'll come to, is that we spoke of heart, we spoke of mind. Today, I'm not going into the body, but that's important. Yeah, Dr. Paresh, you unmuted. You want to say something?
No. Good.
Yeah. Just feel free to interrupt me with a question. Of course, we'll have time at the end for some questions also. But just to give you a little example, one of the things that they were very touched by is that I said that you are CEOs and CXOs, but the true mentor is willing to learn from the person who they are mentoring. See, functionally, they may be capable, but in the human field, all of us are grappling. We don't always listen or speak authentically. We don't pause. We're not asking the right questions, curiosity, right? So can you build a partnership with the people who you are mentoring, your peers, your seniors, so that you can be professionals in your role, but also have a sense of friendship with them? And I can tell you that today, as parents, as leaders, as people who have to navigate times which are VUCA, volatile, we have to discover a connection with ourselves and other people. And these are the hard skills which will help you. Now, I also come to I'll pause here. Is there any question or any observation, anything that you would like to say?
How you can pause?
How we can pause? Very good question. Because we don't pause often, no, Nitin bhai?
Yeah.
We are always running around, right? And that's a beautiful question, because see, when somebody asks a question, it opens up a whole field, right? So how can you pause? And I would say that to answer that question, we need to really see why we don't pause.
Always scary.
Always?
Scary.
Scary. Yeah, exactly. To pause is scary. We are scared. Thank you for being so honest. Yeah. And vulnerable. Because I'm going to tell you that true strength is in vulnerability.
Yeah, during pause, your eyes will talk, your face will talk, your smile.
Yeah.
So that is also one of the key leadership skill.
Yeah.
Face, smile, and eyes are talking.
Yes, exactly. Your eyes are talking, your body is talking, your face is talking. And in the pause, Rohit bhai, we're also able to observe the other's body and eyes and all of that, right? It is scary, no, because it is unpredictable and we want to control the conversation.
Yeah.
Right? But the true power is not in controlling, it is in allowing. And even the martial art of Aikido, if you were here physically, I would tell you that when somebody is attacking, in Aikido martial art, the person who's being attacked moves out of the way, doesn't oppose that attack, and that person falls. So in the same way, we need to understand the distinction between true power and force if we want true tranquility and true
100%.
prosperity. Can you tell me what is the difference between true power and force? Anybody?
True power is natural.
True power is natural. Yes.
Force is you're using your brain to do it.
Yes, exactly. Brain, heart, your whole body. And force, if you look at the two words, empower and enforce, very different meaning, right? Empower is inspiring other people. But enforce, whenever you are encountering a resistance from somebody at the business or in your daily life, When you feel they are resisting, know that you are pushing. So relax and listen and pause and become curious and connect with your feelings. Why am I pushing? And it's okay. Don't judge yourself, because as humans, we push. We force. That's part of reality, right? And especially in situations which are critical. But sometimes in the moment, we are not able to push. We are not able to stop pushing, but we can reflect on that. We can observe later on, and something opens up. And navigating feelings is about knowing that our feelings are located in the body. Typically, we feel sadness in the heart area. We feel fear in the belly, butterflies in the stomach, and anger we feel in the head and shoulders and all of that, right? And if we are able to come in touch with the body, which is always in the present moment, then we are able to relax the mind. But otherwise, we're just going and running around like a plucked chicken. So slowing down to speed up is the first blog post I wrote 15 years back. Because productivity is relaxed. There is a beautiful book called Slow Productivity. Okay, so I'm going to move on. It is 7:12 and I'm wanting to finish by 7:30. And then if there are some questions, the next part that I'm going to talk about is, like there are hard skills, there are mind flips that I discovered. People talk of mindsets. People talk of mental models. But the only way to navigate the mind is to flip it. So as leaders, as businesses, the real advantage and leverage is if you are able to look at things upside down, backside front, and inside out. Because there is always something that we are not seeing. If we hold on to our point of view, then we are missing the view and sitting on the point. So the mind flips, I will take it one by one. Compliance to commitment. Often you will notice that while working with people, you have a blood bank. Rohit bhai, you have been such an amazing consultant and helped so many businesses, and I know your journey a bit. And each of us have done great things. Nitin bhai, you are doing, making a difference to so many people, right? But often people are, or we are, whenever we are not able to bring that total commitment, right? We are somewhere in a compliance mode. And there is a beautiful write-up by Pradeep Mukherjee, who is on commitment. And he says, true commitment is playful. It's not an agenda. It's not a promise. A commitment doesn't look for a return on investment. It looks for, hey, if it didn't work, can I learn? Can I come out of the comfort zone? That kind of a commitment, come what may, playfully. Behavior to positive intention is, friends, that often when we encounter a negative behavior, right, we also respond often with a judgment or blame. Today, in 2 minutes, I will share with you how to shift that so that you can bring tranquility. Let's take the example of somebody who is being arrogant. No? That is the outer behavior, right? But somebody who is boasting, being arrogant, if you scratch a little bit, how is that person feeling internally? Any guesses? Is he at ease?
Insecure.
Insecure, exactly, right? Insecure, and there is some wound, there is some pain under all the unhealthy negative behaviors. But we only look at the behavior, we don't look at the pain that is underneath that. But the most beautiful thing is there is a layer beneath that pain and that insecurity and fear, which is, we ask this question, that somebody who's arrogant in his world, in his reality, what is his deepest desire? What is he wanting? What is the thirst? What would you say? What is he looking for beneath that pain?
Approval.
Approval, appreciation, validation, to be noticed. And all of us have a need for validation and appreciation and approval, right? If we are able to connect at that layer, right, it doesn't mean that we ignore arrogance, but we are able to meet that person with a little more empathy. Somebody said, love me most when I deserve it least, because that is when I need it most, right? And naturally we react, and that's okay because we are human. But in a quieter moment, we see there's a positive intention beneath all negative behaviors. Can we connect with that and meet that person in a very different way? Blaming to claiming is about responsibility, right? And over here, I had a profound insight, which I want to share with you. But for that insight, I want you to take a real challenge in your life, because we all have challenges, which is not getting easily resolved. It could be in any of those areas that we looked at, of prosperity. I'm just putting this here. It could be in relationships, it could be in your business, but a real specific issue in your health, right? In your family, in your financial prosperity. Pick up one real challenge. Okay?
Real challenge is like goal setting. We are
Yeah,
not able to.
goal setting is something that you do, but a challenge is, what I'm saying is, you have been trying to solve it, but it's not getting easily solved. There are problems like that. If I was to give you one example from my life, I have got decent health, right? So there is no complaint. But when I look at some other people like Darshan, who's on this call, who's my business partner, right? His health is much better. He's focusing, he's swimming, all of that, right? So I'm not the purpose is not to compare, but one challenge in my life is that how can I be even better health? Like that, it could be your relationship, it could be somebody at work, or it could be, hey, this problem I've been trying to solve, but is not getting solved, right? When you pick up a specific problem, then I'll ask you the next question, which will be revealing. So you can just raise your hand, those who are on video, and if you can also raise your hand virtually through this. Have you thought of an issue? Just raise your hand so that I know. A specific issue in your work or life that you want to change, but it is a little difficult. Okay, thank you. Yeah. Now, in this issue, if I was to ask you, there are others involved also who can support you, who oppose you. It should be that kind of an issue, right? There's the outer reality of other people in this issue, and then there is you. So if there are others and there is you, what percentage responsibility do you feel, Dr. Paresh, in this situation, you feel what percentage is your responsibility? I'm specifically asking you, and then we'll ask others also. And what percentage would you say are others responsible? Because there are others involved in that situation.
For specifically for my problem?
Yes, specifically for your problem.
I think I am the sole responsible for that, as far as I know my problem.
Okay. Okay.
Because,
so
yeah.
Tell me.
My main problem is the first flip, compliance to commitment.
Right.
I always like to, stay in comfort zone.
Yeah, yeah.
And even, sometimes I try, then it doesn't last for long. Few days, okay, charge ho jayega. Fir again, after 1 week, again I am in my comfort zone.
Got
So
it.
that I know I want to break that thing
Yes.
somehow.
So beautiful that you are saying you are 100% responsible, right?
Yes.
But I want to ask you that in your work, in your life, do you find that there are other people who could maybe support you in this commitment?
Yes.
Hai na?
Yes, there are.
There are.
And luckily I have got a good critic in my staff who
Yes.
always criticizes me in positive manner.
Yes.
So I understand that.
You understand that. So in a way, I'm not saying from a blaming perspective, but from a place that there is your ecosystem who can support you to be committed. Do you agree? Right?
Yes.
So we must look at ourselves not just as an individual, but there is me and there is the outer ecosystem.
Yes.
Right? So if you look at the responsibility of the outer ecosystem, okay, would you say it is 50-50 or 80-20?
Yeah, even better than it could be 70-30.
70-30. Beautiful, beautiful. Whenever I ask this question, people are often responding either 70-30, some people say 90-10, some people say 30-70. Okay. And the key insight I got is that when we break responsibility, okay, we are dividing. And true responsibility is 100-100.
Okay.
Interesting, no?
Yes.
And that is very different from 50-50.
Yes.
Because in 100-100, there's nobody to blame. You're not blaming the other person. You're not blaming yourself. But you become curious. The doorway from blaming to claiming, you're not blaming yourself, is the curiosity. Hey, what can I learn? What can I do differently? Right? And then the third 100% opens up, which is, what is it that I am not learning? What is it that I'm not inspiring in others to support me? What is it that I may not be? Because sometimes it just requires a design or an accountability partner or something in the outer also which can shift the inner. Do you get what I'm saying? I was coaching somebody and we too much focus on the inner transformation, but I said, hey, you're not able to focus on work, start going to a co-working space, WeWork, and his productivity changed. Right? So there are things we can do to design also, right? The other four, I will go through a little quickly. We're often caught in the either or mind frame. But I found that we have to see both and beyond, because truth and life and business is paradoxical, right? What it means by paradoxical is slowing down to speed up. Sometimes soft is strong, right? And how can we hold the individual and the team together? How can we look at financial goals, okay, and performance, which is the outcome, but also look at the relationships with the team members, right? So these paradoxes, and one of my friends, Dr. Raj Sisodia, asked a very interesting question. He said, he's a professor in the US, and he said, I want to study organizations that are loved by their stakeholders. And he identified some 30 odd organizations, and he wrote a book, and he studied them, and he wrote a book, Firms of Endearment. They are endearing and enduring organizations. And he found 4 tenets. He said that these organizations have a higher purpose. They have conscious leaders, conscious culture, and a multi-stakeholder orientation. They are looking at, he said, SPICE, society, partners, investors, customers, employees, all the stakeholders. So it is beyond, right? And that's there. Then the fifth one is that not only looking at, hey, is it out there or is it is in here? It is both, but also there is an unknown territory, which we don't go into because we are only looking at the visible, the tangible, not the roots and beyond. Certainty to curiosity to shared clarity. When we become too certain, we are holding it tightly, right? I ask people to do a little exercise that if you have a pen, just hold it tightly, even more tightly, with both hands, hold it very tightly, right? When you hold something very tightly, there is no freedom to respond. We are too certain. Then we relax the hold. When we can hold something lightly, that which we have held tightly, then business and life can shine more brightly.
Yes.
Isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. And that lightness can come by having a curiosity, not getting stuck. And the last is that we are often focusing on outer strength. Somebody who's trying to show that he or she is very strong is often feeling weak inside, right? But true strength is inner and outer. I will be vulnerable. I will be open. Okay, I'm okay to share my challenges only when I'm feeling a little strong from inside, right? And when I'm vulnerable, see, this is a paradox, no? That if I'm truly willing and open, right, then the support comes to me. I can be innocent. I can be curious rather than showing that I'm strong externally, right? And what I have seen, friends, is that personally we feel vulnerable, but I want to remind you that what is personal is universal. We are made of the same masalas, yaar. Isn't it? So then why be afraid? It's okay. Somebody said, I'm as bad as the worst, but thank God I'm as good as the best. So Haiwan, Shaitan, everything is inside us, And the deepest beauty, we have come from something which is beyond, which we don't know. Let's connect with that. And then I'm coming to the last few slides. Ultimately, let us see how to be simple. But simplicity, there are two types of simplicity. There is again an outer simplicity, which is more superficial, right? Superficial means simplistic, if you heard the word. And there is a deeper, profound simplicity. And I love this line which somebody said, that understanding and prosperity and tranquility evolves from the simplistic, which is just upar se, to the complex, but finally to the profoundly simple. If I was to give you an example, if we are just focusing on the result, then we have a burnout. But the long-term focus on results will require us to go into the seeming complexity of collaboration, what I have been sharing today. The fact that we need to build the organization. And when we build a great culture and leadership, then we find it can be profoundly simple. Right? And wonder. The word wonder has the word one, O-N-E, W-O-N, one, right? And I find that the profound shift into business prosperity through tranquility and through collaboration can happen when we are willing to sell our cleverness and buy bewilderment, a sense of wonder. relax our certainties, and invite curiosity. So, from here, the question that comes is, what next? Where do we go from here, right? And I'm returning to writing over here. And what I want to write is that what is, as we are closing this session, I want to ask you that, did you have any fresh clarity, insight about your business, about tranquility, about prosperity, anything that you found of value? I want to just hear even just one or two of you to share. What was it, that one thing that stayed with you?
Well, you should be vulnerable.
Yes.
Then you should have a collaboration with all stakeholders.
Yes. So let's slow down and let's also bring in the other people, and we'll come back to you, Nitin.
And be aligned with your all three: body, mind, and heart.
Yeah. Body, mind, heart. If you are more curious, we can go even deeper into each of these, right? And ultimately, I would also say that we can be more and more aligned in body, mind, and heart if we are aligned with truth and freedom, true truth and freedom, which comes from a God that is unknown. And because most of us here are familiar with the true God, right? I would say that that alignment comes only, when we are aligned with the true God. What else was of value? Anybody else would like to share?
Yeah, rechecking regularly and see the scope to improve.
Yeah. What did you say regularly, Rohit bhai?
Recheck your
Recheck, recalibrate.
Recalibrate your actions.
Yeah.
And see the scope for improvement.
Yeah. Because one line that I want to say in support of what you said, that I learned that in some ways, everything is perfect, and yet everything can improve. And I like to give that example that the flower is perfect in a way, but it's becoming a fruit. So it is not about us fighting with who we are. It is about accepting who we are, like Shama said at the beginning, connecting with our natural abilities and teaming together with others who have complementary abilities, and being able to see that as humans, we are broken. But when we come together, we can become more whole. And being in touch with truth and freedom, we finally find that peace. Anything else that you want to share?
Speak. Listen, you can choose to speak.
Sorry, you can?
Yes, sir.
Listen,
I was in the middle of something. I could not participate. Thank you,
That's
Nitin bhai.
okay.
Keam chho? Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
can you say
And
you have written something wonderful?
Yes.
yeah, I am just repeating what he said, which touched me.
Tell me.
Yeah, I wrote in the chat.
Oh, you've written in the chat. Let us look at
Yeah,
that.
Can
everything
you
is
share it
perfect
now?
and everything can improve.
Nice. Yeah.
So this responsibility is, 100, and maybe another 100.
Yeah. And we know that when we connect with the true God, we also discover a fourth 100, which is when we are aligned, right? And I would like to say that one thing that I took away, because I'm also learning, is the way in which, each of you participated from the heart. And what I found, I've always felt a deep connection with you, Nitin bhai, but I think through this, and the fact that all of you friends were here, and hopefully we'll connect again, there is a sense of deep connection out of the willingness to co-create and co-learn. And that is why I say that we are co-evolved partners, because co-learning is the in-breath, co-creating is the out-breath. Yeah, Shama, you are on video. Anything you want to add? Or anybody else? Karishma? Yeah.
I can say something like
Please.
from right word go in my life. I choose a person who wants to be connected with me rather than his ability to connect with. His ability में नहीं देखता हूँ. उसकी क्या बोलते हैं आवड़त नहीं मैं देखता हूँ. उसकी wanting देखता हूँ. उसको मेरे साथ connect होना है. Then you can create a miracle in your life. That is what the word collaboration.
Yes, yes, yes.
So that's the ultimate word you have given to the whole lecture is on collaboration. How you collaborate with each other, and then whole platform is created by you in a magnificent way.
Yes, yes. Thank you. In fact, there is like we have emotional intelligence, we have IQ, EQ. I am also coining something called collaboration intelligence, right? Which, in my view, has to do with these 7 hard skills, 7 mind flips, and also there are certain 5 body practices, and today we were not able to cover, but there are 6 collaboration capabilities. In 1 hour session, it's difficult to capture everything, but I just want to share. Yeah. So I'll just pause to see if there's anybody else who wants to add. Otherwise, I will begin to conclude unless there are some questions,
So,
Kiran,
Yes, Tama.
please go on, Doctor.
Yeah, Kiran, you gave that one example. You made that JMR group, and what he said, he wants all his CEOs to be perpetual companies. So that is very something, is strike me that every lead. I mean, suppose I am having my own blood bank, so I want my setup, and my co-workers and all everyone to work in perpetual manner. वो auto mode में होना चाहिए सब. And but that only comes with the ownership. वो सबके पास वो ownership नहीं होती आजकल. That is the main thing which I personally face day to day life is कि hardly you find any your staff who works for you who has the ownership. So that is the biggest challenge I face. Okay, how to create that ownership among your staff.
Yeah, I'm glad you're sharing that, because in my work with dozens of organizations, senior leaders, this is a question which always comes up, and what I would like to say is that we kind of touched upon it in the little time that we have when we looked at the 7 mind flips, and responsibility and commitment are the 2 pillars of ownership, right? And how to inspire that is really the challenge that business owners, leaders face very often. And I would say that I'd be happy to have a conversation with you about this later offline. And now, Shama, you have something to say.
So I just wanted to say that there is something like, even just listening to you, there is something which keeps dissolving inside, because whatever you are saying is bringing up some thought, some experience, and then those words are doing something. So like it's like subconscious participation also. That is, I was noticing that something would come up and it would dissolve, and then you say something next, and we get caught in that. But then there is something happening in the background.
Yeah, it's happening right now with me also.
Yeah, every point that you are saying. Okay. So it's just melting something, easing something.
Wow. It's like I'm getting goosebumps, because that tells me that there is the presence of God's grace, because this cannot happen.
When few people are meeting, God will always be there.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting that you mentioned even Dr. Paresh, is very much in touch with the grace of God. And thank you, Shama, for saying this. I would not have noticed. I've always found that you are tuning into and sensing what is alive. And wow. Are there any questions? I mean, like, this is a very good question, how to inspire ownership, Dr. Paresh, and we will look at that. But I just want to leave, in fact, I'm just wondering, Darshan, is it okay to share your number if people reach out to you?
Yeah. I mean,
They have his number.
Yeah. No, I'm saying that because this video might go out, and sometimes I'm challenged with keeping a track. So Darshan is very good at that as my colleague and business partner. So if you're okay, I will just put the number. If you want to connect whoever is seeing this video with ᴄᴏᴍᴇ partners, Darshan is a co-founder. He's a partner, business partner. Darshan, would you just speak your number? Or actually, I have it. I'll just look at it and put it over here. So and we'll also share with you an email ID, which you can reach out to us. Yeah. So Darshan's number is 98250 35144. Right? Of course, this is India. So +91. Who knows where this video will travel?
Of course.
And
email ID, please.
Yeah, email ID. Yeah. So email ID I'm giving as ᴄᴏᴍᴇ partners. Right, a second, let me just at gmail.com. I will just shift this. Yeah. Let me just, ᴄᴏpartners@gmail.com is our contact ID. Yeah. And yes. So friends, it feels like we went over an hour, but I just want to thank you, Nitin Bhai, for this opportunity, and all of you who are here. I go away from this richer because of your presence, your contribution, and I mean, I would always say the grace of God.
Yes.
Yes, Kiran, thank you very much for a wonderful presentation on the subject. And I think when I listen to all this video, audio, and the presence, I felt something shift in conscious mind for the word called collaboration. Some emotional intelligence. There are so many concepts. And thank you very much for Darshan, Paresh Bhai, Rohit Bhai, and everyone to join in the subject. We are regularly taking different classes. We have one of the lecture was on this. Now you can see the slides of me, which I'm presenting here.
Just one moment. I just want to say one thing, since you emphasize collaboration so often. There is a book that handbook that I'm writing based on my experience, which I've shared those things with you, which is called Collaboration 3.0. And hopefully it'll be out sometime. And it speaks of these 7 heart skills, 7 mind flips, body practices, and the collaboration capabilities. And it maps the whole framework to many other collaborative frameworks. So thank you. Thought I'll just share.
I never heard a very tranquility talk as you had been doing. There were so many subconscious clarity which I did develop during this thing. So thanks, Kiran. This presentation, I will put it on LinkedIn, YouTube, and everywhere. I am Nitin Pathak. There is a blogspot by which you can connect to me. And there are different classes. Nowadays, I'm going to have a workshop mastering use of AI. And we are going to have 10 different sessions starting from 30th October. And once you listen to this, you would have a different clarity how to use AI, including I have shared that one of my clients has come with a presentation or before tribunal where the fees for my working was around 5 lakh normal. He could create with the use of AI. One of my client in Bombay who was having around 30 staffs with coding and cybersecurity work, he could do with a very less staff, around 2. So this is AI, which is going to be the not the buzzword, but it's going to be the work area. You must learn. And the one which I'm going to have another session called Mastering Investment Strategy. This is going to be another session by Bhaumik Kanthare. He's daily sending me how he made a profit, learn to earn, secret of stock market, including crypto, metal, everything we are going to share on this thing. These are chargeable basis. There are different talks we have already. These are the talks which are already on the forum. This would be available on blog. These are free seminars. This seminar we have taken on 11th Saturday, which would be available on blog. Intraday trading, we again do this. This is one of the most important talk by Ron Singhal. How to coming home to wellness, medicine-free home, freedom from free illness. Is a wonderful talk which would be available on my YouTube. There is a senior scientist from ISRO has called about growth engine. With this, I'm concluding. This session of Kiran would be available on blog. Thank you very much. See everyone. Thank you, Kiran, once again.
Thank
Thank
you,
you,
Kiran.
everyone.
Thank
Thank
you.
you,
Thank
Nitin
you
bhai.
very much. Thank you,
So we are
everybody.
closing right now. See you
Yes.
once again. Thank you.
Yes.
With the grace of God, we are living right now.
Thank
Wow.
you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.